Hi, welcome to my blog today. Today we will handle the calculation of revenue of the previous month, for example, with a time intelligence function in Power BI within DAX. So that's, well, a business case you quite often need. You have maybe a list of revenues of all the month in a year, and you just want to calculate how much more revenue do I have in this month compared with the previous month. So in order to do that, there is a function in DAX which is called PreviousMonth, and also there are some more functions like previous day, previous year, previous quarter, and also the other way around, which is next month, next day, next quarter, next year. And how we can use that and what we can do with that, that's what I will show you today. So I have some kind of Power BI training star schema here. You can download it in the blog post on my website, on my web page. And yeah, I will just place it there, and I will also put the example in it, so you can just download it. Well, the thing is the following. I will just create a simple table here in on my page, and I will take the revenue from the sales table, and I will, for example, take the month name 2 from the calendar table. So what we receive right now is a long list with the months from 2022 up to 2024. And we have the revenue of these months, which we see in the second column. Right now, I want to have another column where I can show, well, maybe in the first step, the revenue of the previous month. That means if we are looking here in March 2022, then we should have a value of 1,943 euro and 30 cents, because that's the value of the previous month there. So we can check it. It's just the line above where we have the value. So what we need for that right now is a measure. We will dynamically calculate it when it's used here in that context. So we will just create a measure for it. I will go to the sales table, just right click here, and then select new measure. And first of all, so right now I have this entry field here in the top part of the page. And first of all, I will just define a name. So maybe I call it previous month. So, and that's equals, and right now I can type some kind of code. So what we are doing here is that we are basically creating a new measure. And what we want to do is we want to sum up the revenues from the sales table. So I will just take that in the first try. So we have no error here. We have the new column here, and right now I can just drag it in the columns part here. So right now it's not really working. What we are doing here is pretty much the same as we do in the column, in the second column here, because we see the values are all equal. So what we are doing, we are just summing up the revenues, but based on the grouping within this list. So we have here a grouping on the month level, and so we are summing up the values, or Power BI is summing up the values to that level. So what we want to do right now is we want to change that. So we are in DAX, it's called the so-called filter context, which means all the things we see here in our list and also filters we have here on the visual placed, or also placed on the page or whatever, all those filters are just filtering this value here, and they are just used right now. So if we just put a sum of the revenue within a measure, the whole filter context still is active, and right now we have to manipulate it. So we want to go here and we want to say to Power BI, hey, don't show the value of the January here or of the February here, just show the value of the previous month here. And in order to do that, we have to use one function, which is called calculate. And I will place it, well, before the sum. So calculate, and then the bracket, the opening bracket. Then we type the expression, the calculation we want to perform. We just still want to sum up some rows with revenues, but well, we want to sum up some specific. But that's what we what we want to do right now. So we just sum the revenues up. And then right now I can manipulate this filter context. So instead of using the month we see here in our list, we want to use a different one, and that we can achieve with this previous month function. So we just select this previous month function, and we have to provide a date. And normally we choose the date column from our calendar table. So if I just type date here, and then I see calendar date, and that's pretty much what we need here. Then we can just close the brackets here, and then it should right now work. And right now we see the result. So we have the February here, and we see, well, here in this column we see the February value, and in the column prev month we see the value of the previous month, which is the January value, which is 2,583 and 55 cents. So in January we don't see anything because we don't have a month before that. And we can check this one, for example, as well. We are in November 2023. We have 1,384 and 85 cents as the value of the previous month. If we look here, we have the same value, so that seems to work so far. So what have we done? Well, we created a new measure, and we manipulated the so-called filter context, which means that, for example, in February, we don't want to show the values of February, but of January. And this function works like that. The first parameter is the expression you want to perform. That means we want to sum up revenues. And then you can just put one or also more filter functions there. And we've chosen the previous month, which means we are creating or we are changing the filter context to the month before. We have some other functions here. All the previous functions are existing in a version with the next. That's the other way around. So if we do that right now, we not next day, that was not right, next month, of course. So if we do it that way, then you see in the column here, in the January, we have 1,943.30, which is the value of the next month. So with previous and next, you can just decide what you want to see. What you can also do, you can, we just do the previous month again, and you can just put another previous month around it, and then you are just doing, for example, 2 months previous. So that works as well. But if you want to do it for more than, let's say, 2 or 3 intervals or month in this case, then you maybe should use parallel period instead. And yeah, I think I will make another video on parallel period later on. But for now, that's pretty much it. The previous month function and the previous day or previous year functions work pretty much the same, but the difference is that they are not working on a monthly level, but on a daily, quarterly or yearly level. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and well, if you have some comments on it, then just comment in my blog page. And yeah, have fun trying that in real life, in your real cases.